Thanks for listening and buckets up.
Yo, what up? My name is Jump.
Yo, it's Kairos on the BC Underground Hip Hop Podcast.
BC Underground Hip Hop.
BC Underground Hip Hop Podcast.
Along with your host,
My man's Lil Bukkit.
Lil Bukkit, what's up?
Yo, what's up, everybody? It's your boy Lil Bukkit, and I'm back with the BC Underground Hip Hop Podcast. Today, we got a special guest with us. You want to introduce yourself? Let everybody know where to get at you on social media.
What's that?
You want to let everybody know where to get at you on social media?
What's good, man? It's Jinx. You can get me like everywhere. Just look up Jinx TK, man. All the streaming services, jinxtk.com. That's the main hub. I mean, you can find all the links right there. So
that's what's up, brother.
Yeah.
Now, when I start my podcast off, I like to just ask a simple question quickly. How did you get into hip hop? Where'd you start?
I don't know, man. I've always been into hip hop, man. Hip hop is it's the lifestyle, right? Well, I don't remember a time that I wasn't attracted to the hip hop lifestyle, man, to be honest. So, I mean, yeah, I mean, just from like dudes wearing like shorts that were way too long or like, you know what I mean? Like big ass t-shirts and shit. That's what I was always into, you know what I mean? So, not into rapping and shit, you know. When I was like 14 or something and shit, I used to write like stories when I was a kid. I used to write like writing stories. And then, I don't know, they just sort of evolved into poetry. And I mean, I was rapping before I even knew what I was doing. So
yeah, you didn't realize you were spitting bars, but you were writing poetry. Yeah.
I grew up and then I like kind of discovered like, you know, hip hop music as a whole and like what they were doing. I kind of like saw it with like, you know, real eyes and shit. And
what kind of music did you listen to when you first got into rap?
Just whatever was like
available,
whatever was force fed to me, really, you know what I'm saying? Like much music, like alternative rock and shit, whatever my dad was listening to, it was like, you know, it wasn't, yeah.
You weren't one of those guys going around like searching online for underground rap at like an early age, you know?
There wasn't no online.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Word, man. When did you start rapping?
I don't know. I think it was like 18 or 19. I think the first song I recorded.
Where'd you record at?
It was a place called Smashed Benz in Edmonton. It was run by this dude, Stress. He's done like a few videos. I see he does videos and shit for a few dudes out in Edmonton now. Like he's got a couple shits, but he used to be it was this dope spot though where you could just like, you go and you pay this dude like $150 for whatever, and he gives you 3 hours. You walk in there, he's already got the beat made up for you. You just sort of like, you know, pick a song that you want to write a rap to, and like tell him like, you know, this is the style beat I want, and he'll make a beat just like that. You walk in the studio and he gives you 3 hours to record it, and then he mixes and masters it, tosses it to you, right? So that was like my first introduction to like recording and shit, which was really dope because he was a huge inspiration and shit. And he was like, you ask anyone out in Edmonton who stresses, I mean, the people know, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he's made his name is what you're basically saying.
Yeah.
That's dope.
I think Soundproof Studios they took over his kind of spot, from what I believe. I don't know. I moved away after that shit. So
how old are you now?
I'm 35.
You're 35. So this was a good like 15 years ago almost, right? Like 17 years ago.
2002 maybe, I think.
Shit, yeah. I was 11. That's what's up. Now, after you started doing your songs, like, how did you get into like doing shows and stuff? Did you do shows right away, or did you just like release your music?
I don't really remember, man. I think I was just recording joints and shit, and then I don't know. I got offered a show. It just kind of got offered to me. It was early in my career too. Like I shouldn't have been on that stage, kind of. You know what I'm saying?
Well, you say that, but
put yourself there, right?
Yeah, it's really good that you were.
If I didn't put myself there, I wouldn't be where I am today for sure.
That's right.
Yeah, that was a huge experience. Like get up there and make an ass of myself. I think I paid $50 to even get on the bill and shit.
That's awesome. Did you ever do the ticket sales avenue that some promoters go for? Try and get artists to sell the tickets first?
That's kind of a new thing to me. New-ish, I guess. It's been around for a while, but that's like a newer thing. I mean, when I was growing up, I don't think I really did shows that I was like opening up for big names and shit though. So I mean, when you're doing like a local show, I mean, you don't need to sell tickets. I mean, it's just a local show, right? So
Just a bunch of friends putting a show on, right?
yeah, I didn't really start doing like bigger shows until recently, to be honest. Um, I had a big like addiction problem and shit growing up, so it definitely like held me back from doing a lot of things that I wanted to do. Now I'm like older and shit, so that helps.
Yeah,
Yeah,
now you're in the position to be able to do the things you
I'm
want to with
committed.
music.
Yeah, I wasn't committed back then, but now I'm like
That's dope.
kicking
Now,
ass for what I used to do. Yeah,
do you work with any local artists?
definitely, man. Yeah, I'm friends with everybody out here.
Yeah,
Um,
shout out some of your squad.
fucking Cyphomatic, dog, like Johnny K, Teen Wolf, Evo Freeze, Cabal One, Surreal, Rev Ron. You know, what I mean,
The Island Cats.
yeah, man. Fuck
That's what's
yeah.
up, bro.
But I moved out here in 2007. I think I moved to the island from Edmonton,
Yeah.
and I was in Campbell River for about 4 years, right? And while I was out there, pretty much as soon as I moved there, I kind of got into the I've just always been into the music scenes and stuff. I used to kind of throw shows in Edmonton and like surrounding cities and shit. But yeah, I moved out to Campbell River and like so I just like latched onto one of the local clubs and I worked out like a monthly night and shit.
That's awesome.
I used to bring out like STK before it was like what they are today for sure.
Right.
And I got to know Confidential and like Surreal and shit. Surreal ended up becoming a real big homie of mine, and he was like, "Why the fuck are you out in Campbell River? You need to come to Limo." And I come out here, and then I find out they got like a weekly cipher. So I think it was Wednesday back then. So every Wednesday night, we'd meet at this old abandoned elementary school and just spit raps and shit. And I mean, that's where my crew comes from out here. So
That's really dope, man. I actually know Surreal personally through his work with Oz Team out of Kamloops.
yeah,
I know
shout
yeah,
out Super.
I know Lloyd and um, Jory Jolly really well. I grew up with Jory, like Mr. Ace. I've known him since I was 11, since like basically when you were doing your shows in Edmonton.
Sick, man. That's cool.
Yeah, we grew up together, and then when I met Surreal, I got to know him a little better, and he's always been a super dope cat. I watched him. He battled Memo in Kelowna, and I think he's probably got one of my favorite lines I've ever seen anyone put together in a battle. And it was a one-line punch, and it just says, "He's like, what the fuck's a memo? It's a wasted sheet of paper." Like, oh, that's so fucking hard, man. And Memo's my boy. Like, I love Malcolm. He's good shit. But I liked battle rap a lot at the time, and I thought that was just fucking dope.
So yeah, man.
That's good shit.
Yeah,
So you've done some ciphers out there with him. Do you guys do them regularly currently?
Yeah, it's still going on. I don't know. I think I saw a post earlier today. I usually don't go now. I'm like, but yeah, it still happens definitely. Yeah, still do every Friday now. So it's Friday. It's probably going on right about now. So
that's dope. That's dope. Now, after you got to do a little bit of your shows in the island and stuff, what is it that set you up to, I guess, kind of make yourself like a team on the island?
this is my homie Teos, man, with Independent Generation.
Yeah.
I mean, he kind of, we had kind of a weird introduction to each other. It's kind of we should be enemies basically, but now we're friends, like brothers now.
Yeah.
And, yeah, it's kind of dope. So I mean, he brought me in and like just kind of gave me the studio option. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I record at home and shit. Like, this is my booth right here.
Okay.
Shit. So I like design this. That's where I used to record, and then I still record here. I mean, this is where I do a lot of my shit, and then I just kind of send it off to him to mix. But for albums and stuff, I go see him. But he just he gave me that drive. You know what I mean? To kind of feel like I was part of a family and shit. Like, so that was cool, and I think that was the biggest boost. Really gave me something to work towards and work with.
Yeah, that's really, really dope. Do you guys have any plans for like bringing someone else onto the team and kind of expanding?
Not at the moment. No, that's not really a thing.
Yeah.
I mean, between me, Switch, and Confidential, and Cavill One, I mean, Teos is trying to put out he's got a new album in the works and shit too. So I mean, he's trying to push that, but I mean, we're still building the brand. We don't really do that. We don't have that capability to start bringing in, unless some like fucking hella dope comes around and is like, where the hell did this kid come from? You know what I'm
I feel
saying?
you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we're back. We had a little bit of technical
Anyway, back at it.
difficulties, but where we left off, yeah. So I was asking you a little bit about Victoria Squad. What kind of work do you guys do with the Victoria Squad down there? You guys go back and forth with like big city soldiers, and what's your relationship with Victoria?
I mean, Victoria and Nanaimo. I mean, there's no animosity between us at all. I mean, that's definite. A lot of us, I mean, like Confidential is really close friends with like Mr. Squamald and shit. Eddie Vocals, I mean, he's done a bunch of videos for Confidential and shit too. Eddie Vocals, I mean, he was one of the first guys I met in the hip hop scene when I moved to the island and shit. I was in Victoria randomly and ran into his shop. He had like a skate shop and like a recording studio in the back. It was
Sounds dope. I really got to get him on the podcast.
He's a really cool guy. Yeah, I mean, he's a dope cat, man. Like Knox and shit. Yeah, man. Discreet. Me and Discreet were like super tight and shit for a little bit too.
It's really dope to hear that it's like that on the island, that you guys kind of work together as like a community, and it's not like in Vancouver. It seems like there's a lot of like cliques. Like there's like the emo rappers, and then like the druggy rappers, and then there's like the old head rappers, and then there's like the trappers, right? They're all separate. Like everybody's separate.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's kind of what I'm trying to do with the podcast here, is like bring everybody together. I think there's something that
I mean, the way I see it, I mean, you look at the states and the way they're like separated into their different like shits. I mean, Canada, we're like our own state basically. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I feel you.
Even if we are like, we're basically like cut in half. You got the east and the west.
Yeah, and it's all northern old head, except for like Toronto's got its own significant sound, right?
Yeah, really.
But east to west, it's like out on the super far east coast, it's all old head rap, and then here we're kind of transitioning from old head to this new head stuff.
There's more of like the emo rappers,
experimental stuff.
Yeah, the experimental stuff. Yeah.
Which kind of leads me into the next question I wanted to ask of you. I just want to talk to you a little bit about the Champions tournament you entered.
Right.
Now you went up against Lil Turtle in your first round. How'd you feel about that?
I thought it was interesting, man. I'm not gonna lie, man. I mean, I definitely don't listen to that kind of music, and I mean, as an old head, I'll admit it. I mean, I'm an old head, man. I mean, but I appreciate new music, and I appreciate the new sound and stuff. And I mean, I can't knock it. So I mean, yeah, man.
Yeah, dude. It's kind of like, the thing about it is like you're going up against like a viral gimmick, right? So like Turtle's going for that guy in a onesie with a turtle shell backpack with a mask on,
who's wearing a Halloween costume and shit. It's like Little Windex 2.0. You know what I'm saying?
That's exactly where I think the inspiration kind of comes from. And Lil Dicky, and like Riff Raff and those kind of guys in that
they have their place, though. You know what I'm saying?
That genre that have made success, right?
Yeah.
But also Dylan Windex, he made that character through skits.
Yeah.
So that character got famous before he ever made music.
Yeah.
And then he put the music together to the character, and it really worked out. It was smart.
It worked really well. Yeah. When he did that whole, like, when he came back as DTG, you know what I mean? That shit was dope. That shit was like.
I thought it was kind of a bad move to separate DTG from Windex and try to make a lane for himself as DTG. I feel like he should have realized that it wasn't working as like the Dylan Godfrey rapper lane. That lane wasn't being successful for him, so he shouldn't have brought it out, because Windex was doing great, and then he focused all of his energies, not all of them, but quite a bit of energy towards doing that, and I kind of feel like it flopped it in comparison.
It's hard to say, though. I mean, because I mean it's still fresh, it's still new, right?
Oh, it's dope. No, don't get me wrong. I'm not knocking it in any way. I just feel like
now he's got like 2 characters, you know what I'm saying? Like now he's got like 2 avenues to run now. He like cracked the character in half and like, you know, introduced DTG to all these people that only knew him as Windex, right?
I'd really like to get Dylan on the podcast and actually ask him about this myself, because I feel like the DTG stuff, when it dropped, it got like almost $250,000 worth of views, when his Windex stuff was almost doing like 2 million.
Yeah.
On like every drop, like cleaning it up it got 1.8 really fast.
Really?
He was killing it. Yeah. And I like the kind of viral gimmick kind of music, because I'm a comedian at heart. And
right.
I like to laugh at music sometimes, and I also like the energy of like high pace and like yelling, screaming stuff. And I love old head music too. Like I love all rap. I think
you got to enjoy it all. I mean,
I think there's room for everything. Yeah. But
I don't like the tomatoes. I don't want tomatoes. You know what I mean?
But then when you come into like a popularity contest, which is kind of like what the polls are, and you're up against a viral kind of
I feel like
that's kind of what he's going for.
Yeah. I feel like it was a good outcome though.
Mm-hmm.
Considering who I was going up against, and like watching like from last year's tournament and shit, just kind of seeing how that worked. And then, like, I was honestly expecting him to just blow me out of the water. You know what I mean?
No,
like,
you guys were pretty close on the polls for a bit there.
It was like, you know, that first 24 hours, I think it was like head and head, you know. I mean,
yeah,
it's just,
totally.
You got to vote, I got to vote. He got to vote, I got to vote, you know?
Yeah. It's neat how that kind of keeps you on your toes, too. Like, the engagement. It's like, oh, I think I could win this poll that way. And, you know, a lot of people thought, okay, well, there's 2 judges. Why do we even have polls? But 9 of the matches went to the polls. Like they did play quite a factor.
Yeah.
In the end.
Mm-hmm.
All right, man. Well, is there anything else you'd like to add before we wrap this up?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. Not much, man. Just watch out for some more music.
Yeah.
Man, I'm gonna keep grinding away. Work on some new milestones this year.
That's what's up, brother.
Word, man.
Kill it.
Good.
All right. This has been Lil Bukkit and Jinx TK on the BC Underground Hip Hop Podcast.
Peace.
Yo, what up? My name is Jump.
Hey, I'm Dylan Bell with Low Files Media.
Yo, this is Lil Turtle.
This is Lil Sparka.
What's going on? It's your boy Hooper turned singer.
Yo, what's up? This is JML.
This is Natty Snaps. Yo, it's Kairos on the BC Underground Hip Hop Podcast.
BC Underground Hip Hop Podcast.
BC Underground Hip Hop.
Listen to BC Underground Hip Hop Podcast.
Love Force all day, motherfucker.
Turtle Gang.
Kairos season, baby.
Get it because you need it.
Watching this, y'all are my people, bro.
Wow.